You've heard it said, health is wealth, so enrich your life with the Healthy Home Hour, brought to you by the Healthy Home Market. Every Sunday, 9 to 10 a.m. Know what's new and classic for health and wellness. Meet the local and national experts. Live God's plan to thrive, not just survive. I'm your host, Holly Adams, and welcome to the Healthy Home Hour. Morning all. Glad you're here this Healthy Home Hour to know about health Defense Organic Mushrooms with Jerry Angelini. He's sharing news of the power of medicinal mushrooms that are in the revered category of the health food world's favorite subject, functional foods. Foods that nourish the body, but not just fill you up. And Host Defense Organic Mushrooms has won national health honors, well, repeatedly since about 1998, like the Bioneers Award from the Collective Heritage Institute and Utne Reader's 50 Visionaries Changing the World. That's referring to Paul Stamets, the founder of Host Defense. And also National Geographic's Greennovator, he also won. So we're going to find out what's so great about mushrooms and which mushrooms or blends are best for you. And now's the time to learn all about them, as the entire line of Host Defense is on sale. 20% off at all Healthy Home Markets in and around Charlotte and Davidson. So at the end of this Healthy Home Hour, you'll have a good idea about mushrooms that are right for you. So what is it about mushrooms? We're going to find out. So keep it locked to Streets 1033 for knowledge about your health challenges. But first, a look at what's up at the Healthy Home Market in January. So tomorrow night at 6:30, and again on the 26th and the 28th, enjoy a wellness journey class. It's free, but it's priceless. Excellent class. I recommend it highly. Then every Wednesday in January, there's a Tai Chi for Health for an hour starting at 6:30, a class just $8 each class, or $40 for 8 classes, and it's just about less than anywhere else in the Queen City. And if you've ever wanted to try meditation, come to the Community Wellness Center in the Plaza Midwood store on Thursday, the 22nd at 6:30. And then on the 24th, it's the Davidson Health and Wellness Fair at 261 Griffith Street in Davidson. That's 1 to 4 with tastings of juices, smoothies, meats, cheeses, wine, beer, samples of vitamins, and healthcare practitioners for mini massages and more. So don't miss it on the 24th. And on the 31st, it's Ray the Blood Guy. Some of you know who he is. Well, he's worth a trip because he's back at the Plaza Midwood store right there at the Community Wellness Center behind the store for an inexpensive private blood testing from 8:30 to 11 right there in the Community Wellness. So check it all out and more at the Healthy Home Market. That's healthyhomemkt.com. So, our topic today, mushrooms. They are a unique substance from the plant world because they're also part animal and loaded with enzymes that your body craves. And Jerry Angelini is here by phone to talk all about it. Thanks for being here this morning, Jerry.
Thanks for having me on board today, Holly.
Oh, it's
great to be here.
Yeah, our pleasure. There's so many things about mushrooms that are, well, they're so exotic, kind of. And one of the many things that blows my mind about them is that they're so close to us that I've read that they actually have a very similar DNA makeup to humans. I mean, can you help us with that concept a bit? And why is it that they're so good for us?
For sure. Well, the way things have, quote unquote, evolved over the eons, plants broke off from the same line of evolution that humans and fungi are on, probably about 1.2 billion years ago. And the split between the animal kingdom and the fungi kingdom happened about 600 million years ago. So we're actually much closer related than either of us are to plants. And you can kind of see some of this because the mushroom root structure is more like it's more closely related to the animal functioning. It just happens on the outside. So their roots secrete digestive enzymes, and we call these roots mycelia. And the mycelia also secrete antimicrobials to fight off attacks from pathogens or invading fungal species that are trying to compete for a food source. So they have their digestive and immune system on the outside of them. Where plants, their root system is very passive. They don't have an active digestive system. They have chlorophyll. So they're very different from plants, where humans and animals are more closely related to fungi.
Very interesting. I mean, it's just so sort of mystical sounding. What is the most important thing that we should know about mushrooms?
Well, I think the most important thing is the whole mushroom, the root structure, the mycelia, and the fruit body together can be an amazing source of compounds that can support our health and wellness in basically just about every system of our body.
So what do you think people should know or consider when trying to incorporate a host defense mushroom into their diet? Or even, is it good to have it, on a daily basis?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And when we take a look at the traditional usage of mushrooms in cultures around the globe, they, in fact, have mushrooms in their daily diet their whole lives. The traditional usage and now the research that's associated with daily mushroom use shows tremendous support for not just our immune functioning, but in fact things like our brain functioning, our neurological functioning, the support of our adrenal system, energy and vitality. So these, as well as things like our cardiovascular system and even liver detoxification, are supported significantly by the use of mushrooms on a daily basis.
That's fascinating. I'm wondering about, here we are, it's been cold all week around the country pretty much, and except maybe the tip of Florida, but I'm sure they're cold down there too. So, and I know
Right.
you're up in New England, in the Massachusetts area, and I know it's freezing there, has been this week. So with this chill, we've got winter on the brain more, and we're worried about our immunity. But it seems as though it would be important to also support immunity, not just right now in cold and flu season, right?
Oh, yeah. The immune system is a 24-hour-a-day, 7-day-a-week system in our body. And this is for two really important reasons. The first is that in and on our bodies, we have this microbiome or ecosystem of microbes. And in fact, there's approximately 10 times more of these microbes in and on our bodies than there are of our own cells. And some of them are pathogenic, some of them are bad. And what we want to make sure our immune system can do is constantly stay on top of these pathogenic microbes so they don't grow overly strong, they don't proliferate. The other reason is because as we go through our lives, our cells mutate from time to time, and they create these erratic cells that can grow out of control. And our our innate immune system, natural killer cells and macrophages, they circulate our body, they identify pathogens and mutations in our cells, they tag them, and then they destroy them.
Wow, they're like ninjas.
They really are. And they can be very stealthy, too. So it's something that we need to make sure that our immune system is functioning appropriately for our whole life, and not just during the winter seasonal discomfort time.
And how is it, again, how is it actually that they actually do infiltrate the immune system? Say that again?
So you mean the mushrooms?
Yeah.
Yeah, so in our digestive tract, the mushrooms have a set of compounds that we call beta-glucans, and these are polysaccharides or sugars that we don't absorb. We don't digest them. They stay in our digestive tract, and we have a very strong immune presence in our digestive tract called the gut-associated lymphatic tissue, or the GALT. And about 70% of our immune system resides in these little patches called Peyer's patches. And as these beta-glucans move through our digestive tract. They pull off into the Peyer's patches. Like if you're going to a rest stop on a highway, they trigger and activate our natural killer cells and macrophages, and then they go back into the intestinal tract, and then we excrete them. And what happens in the Peyer's patches is those natural killer cells and macrophages get turned on like Energizer super bunnies, and then they move into the rest of our body looking for pathogens and mutations so that they can tag them and then destroy them.
That is just genius, really.
It's pretty cool, right?
Yeah. Well,
you would have never thought that was going on.
No, I had no idea. I'm so glad that we've broken it down a little bit, and I thank you. Well, folks, we've got such interesting things to talk about today. The subject is host defense mushrooms. Here with Jerry Angelini, expert on the subject. Stay with us. You're listening to the Healthy Home Hour, sponsored by the Healthy Home Market in Streets 1033, Charlotte's new hip-hop station. Stop dragging yourself to the doctor to sit on a cold table in a paper gown to get instructions that don't always work. Americans outspend the next 10 other industrialized nations and still rate 11th in overall health. Change all that at the Charlotte Health Center for a proactive health scene with Dr. Matt McAleese and his first-class staff. Be a VIP and access special health classes. Know the power of spinal correction and experience the new Vibe platform to banish body pain, headaches, and disease without pills or surgery. Treat your body with respect to live your dreams of health and wealth. You can do it at the Charlotte Health Center with Dr. Matt McAleese. Call 704-780-0166 or go to charlottehealthcenter.com and live the life. Uncover the truth with the Holistic Wellness Center of Charlotte, where Christian Boyle, Director of Functional Medicine, investigates the core of your illness and frees you from a variety of health disorders. With specialized testing and skillful interpretation, Christian determines if 4 critical body barriers that act as a health shield have been compromised. Don't keep learning to live until you die with pain, depression, thyroid disease, chronic fatigue syndrome, allergies, insomnia, migraines, autoimmune disorders, or more. At the Holistic Wellness Center of Charlotte, you get the best of East and West to unlock your body's innate ability to be well and live well. With functional medicine, acupuncture, Chinese food therapy, and much more, you will get better and watch your life improve. Because with precise diagnostics, it's not only possible, it's inevitable. If you feel trapped in your illness or want to avoid the diseases of your family, contact the Holistic Wellness Center of Charlotte by going to holisticcharlotte.com. That's holisticcharlotte.com or call 704-308-2557. 704-308-2557. Get the keys to the wellness kingdom with the health detective Christian Boyle, Director of Functional Medicine at the Holistic Wellness Center of Charlotte. Welcome back, folks. I'm Holly Adams. We're here with Jerry Angelini today from Host Defense Organic Mushrooms, talking about your immunity, not just for the cold and flu season, but all year long, and how mushrooms really can affect every function in your body just about. We're here talking about, just before the break, we were talking about the immune system and how beneficial these mushrooms are to your immune system. And Jerry, I wanted to ask you, how would someone add Host Defense mushrooms to their daily regimen? Which one might be best? How would we know?
Well, I like to start with the 2 formulas that I think are the easiest to use. And the first is Myco Shield. This is 5 mushrooms in a spray. And I know some people get a little concerned about mushrooms, will I taste it? And the great thing about these sprays is that they taste like either peppermint or cinnamon. So we use organic essential oils, and you kind of get a little breath freshening experience while you're supporting your immune system naturally.
That's interesting. Who would have thought that mushrooms could taste so good?
Yeah, I know, right? Now, for those of you who love mushrooms, you're really not going to taste the mushrooms in this one. So you can try Stammet 7. Stammet 7 is our daily multiple mushroom, and it has 7 mushrooms in it. And those 7 mushrooms have been shown in research to increase immune functioning about 33% stronger than a single mushroom at the same serving size. So it's in fact synergistic. At the same time, you're receiving the other benefits of those 7 mushrooms that include energy from cordyceps, heart health from reishi, brain and neurological support from lion's mane, blood sugar support from maitake, gastrointestinal support from chaga, and then Missima Royal Sunblasei strongly support immune functioning as well in a couple of other different ways. So, Stammet 7, you can do a capsule if you don't want to taste the liquid, but you still want all those benefits. Or if you like the taste of mushrooms, you can use the liquid and enjoy that as well.
So there's the blends, and then there's individual mushrooms. Is there a time when it's better to take one versus the other?
Yeah, so for people that really want to focus on some of the secondary benefits of mushrooms, like lion's mane has been shown in different research articles to support brain functioning, concentration, memory, neurological functioning, then you might just want to take the lion's mane all on its own, and it will still support your immune functioning. Some people want the benefits of reishi, and reishi was called the mushroom of immortality in traditional Chinese medicine, and supports not just a healthy heart functioning and balances out liver functioning, but also supports adrenal regulation and is the strongest modulator of the immune system. So when people want to make sure their immune system is functioning appropriately, but then they also react to substances that are supposed to be neutral, like dander, like animal dander or pollen, reishi is probably the strongest of all the mushrooms in balancing out that immune system so that it's functioning appropriately.
That is so cool because, it's very difficult to have an impact without drugs on pollen.
I know, right?
Yeah, it really is. So many people suffer from that here in North Carolina because we've got a lot of crossover from plants from the north and plants from the south. Right here, It's a very rich, biosphere.
Yeah.
Which makes me think about the biosphere of where all these mushrooms come from. Host defense mushrooms are produced in the Northwest. And what is it about the Northwest of the country, Washington State and that area, that's just so great for mushrooms?
Well, we grow all of our own mushrooms in what's called a Class 100 clean room. So our growing rooms are tightly controlled to make sure that there's no contamination from either bacteria or other fungi, but also to make sure there's no industrial contaminants. In general, however, mushrooms do like a moist environment, so you'll tend to find them in wooded areas that where there's a lot of moisture available for them to grow in. So in nature, they love the Northwest because it's a temperate rainforest. They get plenty of water.
Does it have anything also maybe to do with all the old growth trees that are out there?
Most mushrooms have a specific kind of tree that they like to grow on. So there are some exceptions, like turkey tail you can find on just about any hardwood that's fallen to the ground, that's dead hardwood. All across the world, it is found on every single continent everywhere. But reishi likes things like maple and oak. There are certain species of Ganoderma, sisters to reishi, that like things like tsuge or some of the evergreen trees. So when you have have the different mushrooms, they tend to like a specific kind of wood. So it just depends on what's growing in your area.
Well, in talking about the reishi mushrooms, there's there is the reishi mushrooms, and then there's cordyceps, and then there's a blend of the two that's called cordyceps. What you've talked a little bit about the reishi. Tell us some more about cordyceps, and then also the cordyceps. Why would you choose one over the other?
Right. Well, cordyceps is a warming mushroom, so people that tend to run on the cold side, that maybe lack vitality, that maybe are a little lethargic, cordyceps is your mushroom. It will energize and warmth and revitalize people from a really constitutional experience. So it's also been shown in research to support breathing functioning. So when you have issues around being able to take a deep enough breath or oxygenation, then cordyceps just on its own might be supportive for you. However, when you pair it with reishi, that also supports lung functioning as well as adrenal regulation. And then as being a strong modulator of the immune system, especially in response to external triggers, then you have really a beautiful, energizing mushroom formula, the cordyceps and the reishi together, supporting the immediate energy and warming aspect of cordyceps with reishi's adrenal support and adrenal regulation for endurance.
Very interesting. I've actually heard that cordyceps on its own is good for sexual function. Is that true?
Yes, absolutely. And in fact, I'm surprised I left that out. But cordyceps has been shown in research to support both men and women with libido and sexual functioning. And the research has shown up to 64% increase. That is a same-day experience. So if you take your cordyceps in the morning, it will support sexual activity in the evening. But it's better cumulative. So if you take it for a week, you'll probably have more fun. So I would say do that.
So is that to say people could maybe slow down on the Cialis and Viagra?
Well, those function a little bit differently. Those function in terms of vasodilation.
Right.
And this works to a certain degree with vasodilation, but it has more to do with supporting the hormone system and supporting the body's capacity to respond under those circumstances. So, I would definitely check with a qualified practitioner if you're using one of those two medications because there's a vascular concern, and just double check with your practitioner.
Right. Good indication there. In the U.S., we all seem to have, maybe the world over now, but adrenal or stress issues, and it's a tricky problem to correct. And I'm wondering if you could ever take maybe too much reishi or cordyceps that might be too stimulating for the adrenals.
So it's a great point. I would say the only one that you might take too much of is cordyceps. Reishi, in fact, has been used for centuries to rebuild the adrenal constitution. So when people have that real, their adrenal system is so dysregulated that they wake up at 1 a.m. because there's what's called a cortisol spike, reishi is really the mushroom for you. You would take it in the morning, though. You would take maybe 1 or 2 capsules when you first wake up, and then another 1 or 2 capsules around noon to 2. And over time, it will help your body reset that circadian rhythm, but also help rebuild that adrenal exhaustion. Now, the one thing that I have to say is what happens most of the time is people, they start to feel really good, and then they stop taking their reishi, and then they come back in about a week, and they say, well, it didn't really work. And what really happened was they stopped taking it. And most of us, it's taken us years to become depleted. And a month or two of using reishi isn't going to do it. You'll probably be on it for a good year to 2 years to rebuild that adrenal constitution from the base up. So, what I like to suggest to people is that they hang in there and they treat themselves better, as well as making sure that they kind of stick in it for the long run.
Oh, I'm so glad you mentioned that, because it really is significant to try to build the adrenals. That's a wonderful timeline and good direction. Thank you. So, folks, this is the place to be this morning. You've got to stay with us. Keep it locked to find out more about your health and host defense mushrooms with Jerry Angelini. We'll be right back. Stop dragging yourself to the doctor to sit on a cold table in a paper gown to get instructions that don't always work. Americans outspend the next 10 other industrialized nations and still rate 11th in overall health. Change all that at the Charlotte Health Center for a proactive health scene with Dr. Matt McAleese and his first-class staff. Be a VIP and access special health classes. Know the power of spinal correction and experience the new Vibe platform to banish body pain, headaches, and disease without pills or surgery. Treat your body with respect to live your dreams of health and wealth. You can do it at the Charlotte Health Center with Dr. Matt McAleese. Call 704-780-0166 or go to charlottehealthcenter.com and live the life. Uncover the truth with the Holistic Wellness Center of Charlotte, where Christian Boyle, Director of Functional Medicine, investigates the core of your illness and frees you from a variety of health disorders. With specialized testing and skillful interpretation, Christian determines if 4 critical body barriers that act as a health shield have been compromised. Don't keep learning to live until you die with pain, depression, thyroid disease, chronic fatigue syndrome, allergies, insomnia, migraines, autoimmune disorders, or more. At the Holistic Wellness Center of Charlotte, you get the best of East and West to unlock your body's innate ability to be well and live well. With functional medicine, acupuncture, Chinese food therapy, and much more, you will get better and watch your life improve. Because with precise diagnostics, it's not only possible, it's inevitable. If you feel trapped in your illness or want to avoid the diseases of your family, contact the Holistic Wellness Center of Charlotte by going to holisticcharlotte.com. That's holisticcharlotte.com, or call 704-308-2557. 704-308-2557. Get the keys to the wellness kingdom with the health detective Christian Boyle, Director of Functional Medicine at the Holistic Wellness Center of Charlotte. Welcome back. You're listening to the Healthy Home Hour, sponsored by the Healthy Home Market. I'm Holly Adams, and we're here with Jerry Angelini of Host Defense, talking about how you can build up your body. Just before the break, we were talking about reishi mushrooms actually helping to rebuild the adrenals from the base up, from the ground up. And of course, if your adrenals aren't doing well, it can affect your thyroid, your sleep, your hair. All kinds of things are affected by these little tiny walnut-sized glands that are kind of getting the whole ball rolling in your body. So I wanted to, while we're on this subject of adrenals and sleep and whatnot, I'm wondering, you mentioned, Jerry, the lion's mane. And that is strictly a neurological rebuild, or does that also impact sleep and stress?
So because every mushroom energizes the body, lion's mane, though, is not as significant as cordyceps. Cordyceps is like, it's like getting a stick in you're plugging yourself into the outlet and getting a nice charge there. Lion's mane is more gently energizing. The way I have seen it helpful for people is that, again, if you're taking it during the day, it helps reduce or balance out moods. So for people that tend to run a little on the anxious side, lion's mane helps balance out those moods for people. And in that, they tend to have less muscle tension. They tend to have less their brain is less worrying, and then they might be able to sleep a little bit better. If that's some of the issues associated with their sleep concerns. Sleep is such a complex process with so many things going on that we have to, I've never seen one thing that impacts everyone's sleep. So it really is an individual experience with that.
So that's very interesting. So lion's mane, you're saying there'd be less worrying, less muscle tension helps anxiety. Is there some indication that it's also maybe good because it's working on the neurology? Does it also help maybe with ADD type symptoms?
And this is one of the research articles associated with it, found that it helped with focus and concentration, as well as memory and decision making. So these are all various aspects within our brain functioning, and it's seeming that lion's mane, there are some really amazing compounds in that help our brains function more appropriately in a more balanced manner.
Very exciting. So, and then, the other thing that's so huge now and becoming more of a problem all the time is diabetes. And I'm wondering if there's a mushroom that helps that.
Well, interestingly enough, there are a number of mushrooms that have been shown to help balance out not just blood glucose levels, but insulin sensitivity. So maitake is the one that is most notable, and it has been shown to help our bodies balance the amount of sugar in our bloodstream, but also helps our cells uptake that sugar so that they can make ATP, or the energy that all of our cells work on. The other mushrooms that have been shown to support blood glucose regulation include cordyceps and reishi and even lion's mane. So, there are 4 mushrooms that have been shown to support blood glucose regulation, with maitake being the strongest and probably the most significant of those 4.
So it sounds like we're getting up into sort of the blend aspect again. How many blends have you got? There's Stamets 7, but is there another one?
Right, yeah. There's Myco Shield, which is the 5-1. There is Breathe, which is cordyceps, reishi, and chaga. And those 3 mushrooms, of course, support our lung functioning. There's cordyceps, which is cordyceps and reishi. And then we have My Community, which is 17 mushrooms. And this I like to call the big gun.
My Community. And so all these mushrooms we're speaking of are mostly in there. Most all of them are in there?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, 17 different mushrooms. It's really a complex formula to help when you've tried a lot of other things and you really need to upregulate or engage your immune system really strongly. And this could be whether you're struggling with winter seasonal discomfort symptoms, or whether you're dealing with mutations that you want your body to get into the fight and work harder to try and identify, kill, and clear.
It's fascinating. The other thing I think is so incredible about host defense, and there's such a lot of community and caring about people and the planet, and hence all the awards that Host Defense has won, and Paul Stamets, who the founder of Host Defense. You've got something called the Culture Library. And and then there's I don't know if it relates to the novel compound that you've got. What is that? Tell us about all that.
So we have a library of different mushrooms that we have taken tissue samples from and that we culture. So the reason we do that is because there's at least 1 million, if not 2 million, different species of fungi on the planet. And what we're noticing is that, the human encroachment on ecosystems, of course, has a huge impact. And many mushrooms, they take a long time to grow. So we want to make sure that some of these species are safeguarded in case they go extinct one day. And we believe it is the largest privately held collection of genetic material specifically for fungi in the world. And it's really quite amazing because all of the mushroom species we work with at Host Defense are, of course, in that library. And it's a huge safeguard in case things continue to, increase population growth and encroachment on their natural habitat causes them to go extinct. So this is really an important consideration for us.
Tell me, is there a connection? Has there been? I've read actually that the Defense Department, the military, is interested in your products.
Yes, and part of it is because we have found, and Paul has found, quite a number of species of mushrooms that when we start testing them in the laboratory, we're finding these novel compounds that have activity against pathogens that we've never seen before. And so this is all in vitro, right? So this is all in a test tube, and it's all preliminary data, but it's very promising, especially in our world where antibiotic resistance is becoming a really serious consideration.
So how about so you're talking about pollution in the body, so to speak. How about for pollution on the planet? As an example, the BP oil spill in the Gulf. Were mushrooms a help to cleaning that up, do you know?
They weren't in the Gulf, from my understanding. I could be wrong. But I do know that we have developed a number of different strains of mushrooms that help break down things like oil spills, petrochemicals. There's even a mushroom out there that can, over a long time, degrade plastic bottles and things of that nature. But that actually takes a long, long time. But, we're working with, other mycologists to continue looking for natural solutions to things like pest control. So instead of using neurologically damaging chemicals, there's a way of identifying certain strains of mushrooms that can help clear out pest infestations like termites and ants and mosquitoes and things of that nature. So, there's quite a huge range of potential for the use of mushrooms to help balance out our world in a way that is going to, in fact, add to it instead of create more damage.
That's exciting. Okay, so we've got lots more to talk about. We've got to take a short little break. We'll be right back, folks. We're talking to Jerry Angelini of Host Defense Organic Mushrooms, and I want you to know that they're 20% off all month at all Healthy Home Markets. I'm talking every single product we're talking about today, the entire line. So the reishi, the cordyceps, the cordyceps, Stamets 7, My Community 17. This is the time to check it out. So stay with us here at Streets 103.3. We'll be right back. Stop dragging yourself to the doctor to sit on a cold table in a paper gown to get instructions that don't always work. Americans outspend the next 10 other industrialized nations and still rate 11th in overall health. Change all that at the Charlotte Health Center for a proactive health scene with Dr. Matt McAleese and his first-class staff. Be a VIP and access special health classes. Know the power of spinal correction and experience the new Vibe platform to banish body pain, headaches, and disease without pills or surgery. Treat your body with respect to live your dreams of health and wealth. You can do it at the Charlotte Health Center with Dr. Matt McAleese. Call 704-780-0166 or go to charlottehealthcenter.com and live the life. Uncover the truth with the Holistic Wellness Center of Charlotte, where Christian Boyle, Director of Functional Medicine, investigates the core of your illness and frees you from a variety of health disorders. With specialized testing and skillful interpretation, Christian determines if 4 critical body barriers that act as a health shield have been compromised. Don't keep learning to live until you die with pain, depression, thyroid disease, chronic fatigue syndrome, allergies, insomnia, migraines, autoimmune disorders, or more. At the Holistic Wellness Center of Charlotte, you get the best of East and West to unlock your body's innate ability to be well and live well. With functional medicine, acupuncture, Chinese food therapy, and much more, you will get better and watch your life improve. Because with precise diagnostics, it's not only possible, it's inevitable. If you feel trapped in your illness or want to avoid the diseases of your family, contact the Holistic Wellness Center of Charlotte by going to holisticcharlotte.com. That's holisticcharlotte.com, or call 704-308-2557. 704-308-2557. Get the keys to the wellness kingdom with the health detective Christian Boyle, Director of Functional Medicine at the Holistic Wellness Center of Charlotte. We're back. You're listening to the Healthy Home Hour. I'm Holly Adams. We're here with Jerry Angelini of Host Defense Organic Mushrooms. And their tagline is "From the forest to our farm to you." Pardon me. And I'm telling you, these products are really beautiful. They're very ergonomic, so to speak, in the body. And before the break, Jerry, we were talking about some of the incredible things that they can do environmentally in terms of cleanup and toxicity, which I just got to ask you, might they actually also, could this lead to something that would be different than the nicotinoids, I think they're called, those products that are sprayed that have really badly affected the bees?
Yeah, so we are looking at how mushrooms might be able to help the bees in their impact by these compounds that are found in genetically modified foods, especially the soy and the corn out there. They're basically called Roundup Ready or something like that, or
yes.
And what we have found is that through a number of different factors, including these very strong pesticides and fungicides and weed killers, is that the mushrooms help the bees detoxify these substances out of their systems so that they don't get quote-unquote drunk from them and disoriented and then never make it back to the hive. The mushrooms also support the bee's immune system so that when the little mites that can sometimes inhabit the hives, when they start to grow in, the immune system of the bees can fight off some of the viruses that those mites bring into the hive. So it's really multifactorial, the impact that the mushrooms can have on the bees.
So this is a lot of detoxing you're talking about. Let's talk detoxing. Because we're, pardon me, we're kind of swimming in a toxic soup of benzene and xenoestrogens from plastics and mercury from coal ash, not to mention bad food. And you mentioned GMOs, Roundup Ready food, and cigarettes or over drinking. How about mushrooms and detoxing?
Brilliant. Yeah. Reishi, chaga, agarikon, these have all been shown to support liver detoxification pathways, most specifically what's called a phase 2 detoxification pathway. And so when we're looking to help clear the body of some of the more, I would say, oxidative end products in our system, that's where we need to go. Phase 1 is what all of the medications go through, and it's the first line of detoxification for any of the food or cellular metabolites in our body. And then phase 2 helps our body excrete them from the system, so it actually gets them out of our body. And like I said, reishi, chaga, turkey tail as well, and birch polypore support those phase 2 detoxification pathways so our bodies can excrete these substances and get them out.
Wonderful. How about some people say, "Oh, I'm allergic to mushrooms." Is that common? Do you hear that a lot? And should they? Yeah.
Oh, well, I was just thinking, in our world, we're seeing more allergies in general. So I would absolutely be careful. Like if you have a white button mushroom allergy, chances are the cross intolerance is pretty low, but it happens. So I would proceed carefully for sure. Some people already know that they're allergic to shiitake or reishi, and you definitely want to stay away from them if that's the case. But yeah, I would proceed with caution for sure if you have a known mushroom allergy.
What about, you mentioned shiitake, and at the Healthy Home Market in the produce department, we sell shiitake and, various other mushrooms, portobello, etc.
Mm-hmm.
Cooking those up using, of course, organic product, which we sell, cooking those up, is it still as beneficial as what you're talking about in the capsule or in the spray?
It's different. You're only receiving the benefits from the fruit body, which are important for sure. At Host Defense, we have the whole mushroom, and there are compounds in the mycelia or root structure that are not found in the fruit body at all. So although you would be receiving those benefits from the fruit body, and like I said, those are important, so eat mushrooms every day. I'm a big fan of that. Using the Host Defense line is going to provide you with an access to a set of compounds that you will not get if you just eat the fruit body. And these include things like enzymes and what are called culture metabolites that have been shown to help balance out our body's ecosystem so that those probiotics are stronger in their presence and the pathogenics are less strong in their presence.
So then, does that mean that I'm also thinking about people who have candida or fungal overgrowth? Can you take Host Defense with those issues?
Oh, absolutely. And the research is really quite definitive, and it shows that the mushrooms, the whole mushroom, has a number of different compounds that help our probiotics flourish in our bodies while reducing those pathogens from flourishing. And that's a really important thing because candida is one of those microorganisms that just about every person on the face of the planet has in their intestinal tract. But for most everyone, that's pretty well controlled by their probiotic microflora. So we want to make sure that those probiotics are strong so that they can do what they're supposed to do, which is control the overgrowth of those pathogens that are in our intestines.
It's so interesting because it really does sound, not only for us, we were talking earlier about the bees and how they have to contend with the mites, and what Host Defense is the research helping the bees get off of, not using some of these terrible pesticides and toxins in growing food. So it seems like all creatures are really coping with several different things, like a whole buffet of things that we all have to deal with. But it's really about supporting the good bacteria so that you don't get stuck with this overgrowth of bad.
Right. It's always a balance. The world has, it's a really complex place, and our bodies, as more and more research comes forward, our bodies are really, our health is in large part determined by how well we balance out this ecosystem in and on us. So the more we can have the proliferation or the growth of these good microorganisms like Lactobacillus acidophilus and the bifidobacteria and keep those nice and strong in our system, the better we're going to fare. And they also help reduce the overgrowth of things like E. coli that is in our intestinal tract and candida that is in our intestinal tract. We just want to keep them controlled. And mushrooms help in a couple of different ways in that process.
I'm sorry? You still there, Jerry?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, you just
Did I
phased
go?
out.
Okay.
Yeah, just
Oh,
phased out
okay.
for a minute. Tell us again about how it helps with probiotics or prebiotics too.
So the mushrooms themselves, those beta glucans that I talked about at the beginning of the show,
Mm-hmm.
they actually not only do they help our immune system, but they are food sources for these lactobacilli, as well as the bifidobacteria. So they provide a really good food source for our good bacteria.
Fascinating. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, we talk a lot about inflammation also on the Healthy Home Hour. Are mushrooms helping that process too of de-inflammation?
So what mushrooms do is they help balance the immune system. So what they do is they help make sure that the parts of the immune system that are really important to be working all the time are doing that. They also help manage and reduce the amount of inflammatory cytokines that are released so that there isn't an overreaction. So mushrooms are modulators or balancers of that immune system. And this is a really key concept. You know, we want to make sure that we don't turn our immune system off. We just want to make sure that it's acting within normal parameters. So, and this is what we're seeing, that every single mushroom studied to date has shown a capacity, as long as you get a fully extracted mushroom like we do at Host Defense. It's not just the beta-glucans. There's thousands of different compounds in mushrooms. So you want the whole mushroom fully extracted so your body can have a balanced response in your immune system.
Wonderful. Yeah, we all got to run out and get some mushrooms. I'm telling you, Host Defense, folks, it's gonna pump up your body, make you feel much better, and build up your immune system. And it's 20% off at the Healthy Home Market, all 4 stores in and around Charlotte and in Davidson through the month of January. So stay with us, folks. Keep it locked. You're listening to Streets 103.3, Charlotte's new hip hop station.
Stop dragging yourself to the doctor to sit on a cold table in a paper gown to get instructions that don't always work. Americans outspend the next 10 other industrialized nations and still rate 11th in overall health. Change all that at the Charlotte Health Center for a proactive health scene with Dr. Matt McAleese and his first-class staff. Be a VIP and access special health classes. Know the power of spinal correction and experience the new Vibe platform to banish body pain, headaches, and disease without pills or surgery. Treat your body with respect to live your dreams of health and wealth. You can do it at the Charlotte Health Center with Dr. Matt McAleese. Call 704-780-0166 or go to charlottehealthcenter.com and live the life.
Uncover the truth with the Holistic Wellness Center of Charlotte, where Christian Boyle, Director of Functional Medicine, investigates the core of your illness and frees you from a variety of health disorders. With specialized testing and skillful interpretation, Christian determines if 4 critical body barriers that act as a health shield have been compromised. Don't keep learning to live until you die with pain, depression, thyroid disease, chronic fatigue syndrome, allergies, insomnia, migraines, autoimmune disorders, or more. At the Holistic Wellness Center of Charlotte, you get the best of East and West to unlock your body's innate ability to be well and live well. With functional medicine, acupuncture, Chinese food therapy, and much more, you will get better and watch your life improve. Because with precise diagnostics, it's not only possible, it's inevitable. If you feel trapped in your illness or want to avoid the diseases of your family, contact the Holistic Wellness Center of Charlotte by going to holisticcharlotte.com. That's holisticcharlotte.com or call 704-308-2557. 704-308-2557. Get the keys to the wellness kingdom with the health detective Christian Boyle, Director of Functional Medicine at the Holistic Wellness Center of Charlotte. We're back. I'm Holly Adams. We're talking with Jerry Angelini of Host Defense Organic Mushrooms. From the forest to our farm to you, this is a great product line. I mean, an exceptional product line that's won all kinds of awards. And, Jerry, you mentioned something earlier that I just want to clarify for folks. You mentioned the fruit body is the only, it's not just the only active part. What is the fruit body versus the rest of it?
The fruit body is what most people think of as a mushroom. It's what you might cut up and throw into your saute pan. Don't ever eat mushrooms raw. You're not going to get any benefit from a raw mushroom at all, period. You can't digest them. You have to cook them. But the root structure also has a set, and the mycelia has a set of really, really important compounds, including a set of enzymes that are really helpful for our digestive tract, as well as these culturing metabolites that can help with a more balanced probiotic ecosystem in and on our bodies.
Okay, great. What about, you mentioned not putting it in your salads. Okay, so some people love mushrooms in their salads, so they'll eat them anyway, but they don't really do anything for you. But I'm wondering about mushrooms that aren't organic. I mean, how are regular, standard, conventional mushrooms grown, and should we avoid them altogether?
Mushrooms hyperconcentrate whatever they're grown in. So they're going to take whatever's in the soil or the growth media and hyperconcentrate it into their fruit body. So I'm a big fan of making sure that your mushrooms are organic. And in fact, I really wouldn't eat them raw on a salad. Saute them first and then put them on your salad, because although you can't digest a mushroom, lots and lots of bacteria and fungi will alight upon a mushroom that's sitting in in a salad bar, and so you're inoculating your intestinal tract with whatever is growing on that mushroom. So cook your mushrooms first, and then if you want to chill them and then put them on the salad afterwards, do that.
Interesting. Thank you. Good info.
Yeah.
How about, do you ever need possibly to take a break from using mushrooms? Can we eat them too much, take too much?
Well, you can take too much of anything, Mm-hmm. The great thing about mushrooms is they have a really, really great safety data associated with them. So, like the LD50 on reishi is 40 grams per kilogram of body weight. That's an awful lot of reishi. Lion's mane is an edible mushroom. Shiitake is an edible mushroom. Maitake are edible mushrooms. So you can eat a lot of these without having to worry about taking too much. At the same time, having said that, all things in moderation. I think that's a really important consideration. And so, can you take them for too long? No, just switch them up. I think what happens with the body is that sometimes people adapt to things, but if you switch things up or if you use a complex formula, we're not seeing people's immune system, quote unquote, adapt to them and then down-regulate afterwards. So if you're only taking reishi because you want to, help your adrenal system, well, then throw in some Stamets 7 like every 6 months or so, just to kind of, shake things up a little, or maybe throw in some lion's mane to help your brain function a little bit better every once in a while.
Jerry, what's your go-to mushroom?
I have two that I take every single day. They are agarikon and lion's mane. And I got to keep my brain on top of things all the time, being an educator, so I love the lion's mane for that. And then I use agarikon because traditionally it was used and called the elixir of long life. As a supplement company educator, they keep us hopping. We end up traveling all over the place and doing a lot of visits and educational opportunities. So I need to make sure that I'm got a really nice constitution. And so it's agarikon is an amazing mushroom as we learn more and more about it. Yeah.
What about the extract versus the capsule? Do you have a recommendation about when to take either one?
Yeah, capsules are great for convenience. I have to say that. If you're one of those people that kind of sets up your supplements on a weekly basis, and you just, you set them up and you just take them, just do the capsules. They're great. You're going to get a lot of benefit from them. But if you're looking for a stronger modulation of your immune system, say you have a lot of reactivity to dander or pollens, the liquid's going to be much quicker. Like, you'll probably start to feel it within 10 minutes of that. And it's going to be a little bit stronger, helping with the modulation. So sometimes what people do if they have a lot of those concerns is they take the capsule on a regular basis, and then they also, use the liquid too, in times of a little bit more, when they want a little bit more immediate response. But then the Myco Shield spray is only in liquid because we want to make sure that that's being sprayed right in your mouth, and we call this a portal of entry for pathogens. So we want to make sure that the mucosal immune system in your mouth is really strong and has a direct application of those mushrooms to really help it function better. So there's that to take into consideration.
Wonderful. Well, big thanks, Jerry, for being here today. It's been great, so interesting and effective to know. I mean, these mushrooms are really powerful.
Yeah, amazing substances.
Great, thanks. We'll do it again.
Wonderful. Have a great day.
You too. Enjoy your Sunday. That's Jerry Angelini of Host Defense Organic Mushrooms by Paul Stamets. Get to the Healthy Home Market and build your immunity. For all seasons, you can get capsules or sprays, and everything in the entire Host Defense product line is on sale, 20% off at all Healthy Home Markets right now through the end of January. So start your 215 off well. And until next week, I'm Holly Adams. I'll be looking for you at the market and in the Community Wellness Center for Tai Chi this Wednesday. This is Streets 1033, Charlotte's new hip-hop station.
Pay it forward and restore yourself by making the healthy choices for you and your family, and enjoy life with the Healthy Home Market. Feel the goodwill and own great health. Check it out at healthyhomemkt.com. That's healthyhomemkt.com for store locations, details, and discounts. Get the best of God's green blue earth at the Healthy Home Market.